Afternoon, Bournemouth fans, Cherries Army YouTube channel. I'm Kirk. This is the match review, and it's AFC Bournemouth 2, Barnsley 3. I've got Dan with me. Raw feelings before we go into the game, Dan?
So initially frustration. I'm actually quite upset now, to be honest. It's actually got to that point. Yeah, it's hard to feel that the season's written off now. Can we see us getting getting back those 5 points, reducing the gap? No, I can't at the moment, especially with Swansea. Oh yeah, it's just a lot of negative emotions. Yeah.
So as we do on this review show, we're going to go through the game chronologically. We'll then have a look at what that looks like from a championship table point of view, and then we'll briefly touch on Swansea that's coming up on Tuesday. If you're a return subscriber, thank you so much. Give us a like, even though we lost today. If you're new to this channel, give a subscription for more AFC Bournemouth content. So we're going to go through it chronologically, and let's just recap on lineups live, which you were on with me, Dan, and those lineups. It was a 4-4-2, a bit of a shock to see maybe Shane Long line up with Solanke up top.
Yeah, it was a strange one to see, actually, that we were going 4-4-2. I was a little bit optimistic. I thought that, having two up top, admittedly, I would have preferred Dom and Surridge up front. We didn't know how match fit Surridge was, though, coming back from an injury. But yeah, it's just I thought initially, the link up play between Dom and Shane would work quite well. It had worked, and just Dom being in the two had worked really well before, but Shane Long just really hasn't proved himself. I was quite optimistic. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's a good enough footballer, which is yeah. He's yeah.
And before kickoff, before the football actually started, we had several weather conditions come into play today here in Bournemouth. We had a bit of sun, we had a bit of cloud, we had some hailstone, and we had rain. It just felt like it was a bit of a weird day before the game even got started.
Yeah, some ridiculous conditions. But yeah, we had to manage it from the get-go. From the winds, we were playing with the wind behind us, and I thought initially, I know we're not going to go too much into it just yet, but initially I thought that we did all right. We were using that to our advantage. We weren't playing a lot from the back. We're kind of just going for the over-the-top through balls right from defence, and in this case, it was probably working because of the conditions. I think that was a big factor of it. But yeah, it was definitely about managing those conditions for sure. Yeah.
We had to do that in the first 10 minutes. Our opposition lined up exactly what we thought they would do. And with the match preview, host also, guest also stipulating how they would line up. In the first 10 minutes, their high line was obvious that they were going to play as high up as they could. And then we had Dan Juron and Stanislas in that sort of wing play positions. But it felt to me like they weren't concerned defensively. It was more just staying high up the pitch. And Lerma and Pearson were sort of guiding toward, sort of sliding left and right to cover them defensively when we're out of position.
Yeah, I think when we were attacking, I think that I felt like with this, because Dan Juron, Stanislas, they have a lot of room to run into when they're playing a little bit deeper. I thought that initially through the entirety of the first half, we played quick football, which is what we've been crying out for. We don't want that slow, predictable football, especially when we've got players like Dan Juron who just want to run at the defence. I mean, that does mean that we're going to lack defensively, and we've had problems with our left back for a long time. I wasn't sure exactly how Kelly was going to cope, but yeah, I think that it did work in terms of in an attacking sense, because it adds that. I felt like it added a bit more intensity. And I thought we were good in the first half. And I think that Pearson and Lerma were really good in the first half as well. I think they controlled that midfield well. We were worried before the game, or concerned that maybe they would have too much to do. But I thought they did a really good job there. And we were playing quick football. We weren't making the classic Bournemouth mistakes of giving the opposition the ball. We were playing that quick football, which we wanted to see, which is what makes the second half even more frustrating.
Just after 10 minutes, then Barnsley would have a corner. The first corner, I think, that actually they had a technique and they tried to score, and it was blocked by Carter Vickers. And I thought, okay, we got away with that one. But then they would have a second corner not long after, and we wouldn't deal with that one. A flick on, watching the ball, not marking, and slipped in from the back post, and Barnsley would score the first goal 1-0.
Yeah, it's been our problem all season, hasn't it? We've conceded the most goals from crosses in the entire championship, but I think some distance now. I think we've got a bit of a gap there, and it's just been a problem. We these championship teams, they know that they're not going to go toe-to-toe to us like Barnsley did previously when we beat them 4-0. They went toe-to-toe to us. Afterwards, sides realised we can't do that. Let's just sit back. Let's get a lucky header or an undeserved header or a scrappy goal. They don't care how they get it. They just want to out-muscle. They want to be the, get the easiest way to do that is from a corner. And we can't, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is why we can't defend corners or crosses at all. Like, because I suppose you could say we've got quite a small team in relation to a lot of other teams, and teams just come bully us. And that seems like a lot of the way they're winning at the moment.
So we didn't score inside the first 20 minutes again, but just after 20 minutes on the 22nd minute, Begovic would collect the ball from a cross, and with quick thinking, he would have a quick throw out. A defensive high line error from Barnsley would allow Stanislas to pick up the ball in a forward area. He would cut inside and then feed Dan Juron, who would equalise, and we were back in the game at 1-1. What I also thought was quite funny is he looked up Dan to see if he was offside, because about 3 times prior to that, he had got himself offside. But we were back in the game 1-1.
Yeah, it seems like you can't go a game at the moment without Dan Juron being offside. He's frustrated the living hell out of me at times, because the amount of good run, he doesn't need to. He's a quick player. He's quicker than these defenders. He can outrun them. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I really like that goal. That was one of my favourite goals for a long time, actually. Thinking right from the back, quick play, no mess. Get it out there, Stan did really, really well. I know the quality that Stan has. He's one of our most technically gifted players, I think. And on his day, he's unplayable and does really well, beats his man and plays it across. And you would always bank Dan Juron to finish that in the decent goal scoring form he's been in.
I wouldn't say we were Brazil like Willow made it sound like, but we were definitely the better team after that 1-1, and Lerma would come into the game more, and that creativity that you touched upon in Lineups Live, he would create a chance for Stanislas to hit the bar, and Lerma himself would also have a chance low down, which was cleared by the defender. So we didn't get the second goal, but we definitely had those chances as we got closer to half time.
Yeah, it was. I feel like you look back at it now and you think, so many chances. When you're on top, take the chances. When you're getting these opportunities, you've got to take them. They've got to go in. And you look back when we're towards the end of the game, because if we're gonna start quickly, which I want us to start, I want us to start quickly with intent later on in the game when we hopefully have got that 2-goal lead, because I never trust Bournemouth with a 1-goal lead ever, and even a 2-0 I'm a little bit. But yeah, we just can't be trusted with a 1-goal lead. So when we're on top, Lerma has a great chance, admittedly, good defending, and we hit the bar. It's the amount. It's all good and well and saying, I know in the commentary, oh yeah, we're the better team, we're doing this, that, and the other, right? And we were creating some good chances, we were getting some good positions. But that's all well, it's all well and good. But if you can't do anything with it, if you can't finish it, it's pointless. It doesn't matter. You've got to be able to finish these chances. And you've alluded to it many times. And yeah, I think most people are in agreement with you now. Just don't have that number 9. We just don't have enough goal scorers. We don't,
Looking to go in at half time, then regroup at 1-1. We would get a Smith injury, and we hope that's not too bad. But on the positive, we would actually have a counter-attack right at the end of the half, with Dan Juron getting on the end and creating an assist for Dom Solanke to get back to scoring ways. We were looking for him to score. He did that. A cool finish just outside the 6-yard box, 2-1 to Bournemouth.
Yeah, really cool. Again, actually, and this is what we've been crying out for with Dan Juron. We don't want him to just get the ball, stop for about 5 seconds. Everyone in the box regroups, gets their positions, while the teams, they're defensively, they're all over the place. Yeah, that's when you need that first time cross, and that's exactly what he did. And that's why we were so good in the first half, because we played with speed. We were predictable. We didn't play the predictable football that's got us, 1-0 down at half time in so many different games that we shouldn't have been. And yeah, it was a really nice finish, but overall, he does so much for the team, but he isn't that number 9, 20-goal a season. He's not Ivan Toney. And that's why Brentford flying this season, for example, they've got in that number 9 that will score 20 a season, if not more. Norwich have got Timo Pukki. who will get that 20 goals a season, and he's a reliable striker. We just don't have that. He is good in other ways. I don't think he's a bad player. I really, really rate Dom, but he's not that goal scorer, and we've been crying out for it all season. But yeah, it was a nice finish, and we know Dom has that quality, but it's just we're waiting for him to score, as you said, 2 games ago.
At half-time then, Barnsley switched it up like they've done many times, and like it was brought to our attention that they made 3 subs, I think, come out, swapped it over, and we came out the same. And I actually thought a 2-1, probably lucky to be 2-1 ahead to a point, even though we did play well at stages in that half. But maybe bring someone on to get someone on the ball that can control the game, because it felt like the first 15 minutes after half-time, one team was looking to bridge that gap and give a bit of distance between, us and Barnsley were trying to get the equaliser. No one seemed to grab control of the game.
Yeah, I think Barnsley, why they were so good and that they kept on going is, they made those changes. And everyone on that pitch knew, for Barnsley, knew exactly what they were meant to be doing. They knew exactly what position they were meant to be playing. They knew exactly what system they were playing, and they knew how to manage the game. And it's so frustrating. And we think we would have learned from the amount of times that we've been ahead and we've ended up dropping points, 2 or even 3 points, that we would manage the game and try and go that 3rd goal or 2nd goal, whatever it may be. But I think and then bringing on Billing in that holding midfield role in that 2, when he plays in that 2, especially in the holding midfield, it just doesn't work. He isn't that type of player, and he will never be that type of player. And we've discovered that, and we've seen him really flourish in that more attacking position. And I don't know why we would take Pearson off, who's exactly who you want to keep on in this kind of game, and who's gonna really, when it gets to the late stage of the game, he's gonna be able to make those tackles. He's not gonna be clumsy and give away the inevitable free kick that gives away the goal like Billing did. So frustrating, and I don't know why we are managing games well enough, and why we're not bringing on Wiltshire, for example, who we've been crying out for at certain points. We need that bit of extra creativity. If we need that extra goal, bring on Wiltshire. Don't be afraid to do that. And I don't know why he's not been playing, because he's clearly one of our most talented players, but confusing.
Yeah. 60 minutes would come then, and Corley Woodrow would get himself in the position where he would square the ball. Bit of luck, I think it came off Lerma, and would land at Freezer's feet. Equaliser 2-2. They were knocking on the door.
Yeah, you can't say that. I know in the commentary there we were saying we were miles the better team. You can't say that they didn't deserve it, because they kept at it. And we don't take our chances, and that's our fault. They're going to keep the door. And once they got on that front foot completely, because I felt the game was quite 50-50 for a lot of it, especially in the early second half. I felt like both teams were going for it. But I felt like once they realised, okay, they're a bit vulnerable here, we could catch them here, and they haven't got that extra goal. And you're going to get a bit of luck, but when you don't take your chances, that's what happens. And they kept pushing. And, they got some corners. They were piling on the pressure. Inevitably, with any team, that's going to lead to a goal. So especially an informed Barnsley team that's, as you said at the preview show, maybe got nothing to lose at this point. So there you go.
Went into the final quarter then with 2-2. Now, one thing we didn't take enough advantage of, and like you said, weren't clinical enough, but they had an absolute goalie that had a rush of blood to the head on many occasions. Dan Juron would get himself in a position where the keeper was out of position, and actually, if he'd just got a good connection from a half-type volley, we could have gone in 3-2. But their high-line defence and their goalie that seemed to be erratic, we just didn't punish that.
Not at all, and it was so frustrating because it constantly kept happening. It wasn't a one-off thing. It was goalkeeper came up, and you think, oh, we're through here. Oh, the keeper comes charging out. On a lot of occasions, it did work, and I think that was clearly what they set up tactically to do. But the amount of mistakes he was making, there was 3 occasions there that we could have snatched a goal, and we're just not clinical enough. When I think it was the second time he did it, or maybe the first, where Dom gets the ball, it's an open goal. Where's Shane Long? Shane Long needs to be there, and he's nowhere to be seen. And it's as you said, we just don't have that goal. And we should have looked at that and go, okay, this is what the keeper's doing. What can we do about that? What can we do to get a goal here? If he's going to make a mistake, or even if he isn't, what can we do that's going to lead to a goal? And I just don't think oh, yeah, we just didn't do that. We just didn't manage the game at all.
You know that second one where Dom Solanke got behind the keeper when he scuffed it with his left foot? That reminded me of Divock Origi when he did it for Liverpool at our place. I think that was the 4-3 game, but it was from a tight angle, and it reminded me. And unfortunately, that Dom couldn't do what Origi did, but a comparison. About 10 minutes to go then. We were giving away some sloppy free kicks outside of our box, and one would punish us. It would be an Alex Moat assist. That would be his 7th of the season. Cross into the box and a headed goal from Colton Morris. Guess what? Can't defend set pieces again.
Yeah, and we talked about Mo at the start of the game, and we said he's been really good for them, chipping in with goals and assists. I can't say I've watched loads of Barnsley, but he's clearly doing something right, and he's clearly one of their best players. And yeah, it's especially, it confuses me even more is when we're so vulnerable to these set plays, why are we giving away these stupid fouls? Like it's not even like he was going anywhere, which makes it even more frustrating. Where was he going to go from that position? He couldn't. He was trapped. There was nowhere to go. And it's just these stupid little fouls that we just don't need to make, and that costs us. The amount of times we've lost games from just mistakes, and it's annoying because all those mistakes that we have that lose us 2 points or 3 points, they come out with when we gain 3 points from individual bits of quality, like when Dan Juron scored a great goal or Stan scored a great goal, it cancels it out. So it almost seems pointless, and it's so frustrating because it's time and time again we just putting the pressure on ourselves, and and it's just mistake to mistake, isn't it, with Bournemouth? And it's been like that. We always used in the Premier League. We almost to be always a classic Steve Cook moment, at least once a game where you just have to give the ball away. And it seems even a bit lot better Steve Cook in the Championship, but it just shifts to another player, and frustrating. Really frustrating.
Do you know what was a bit weird? Was Barnsley 3-2 up at Bournemouth? You'd think they'd chuck everyone back and start building a brick wall, and they didn't. They were still gung-ho. They still had a high line up at the halfway line. We started to knock on the door. But you know what? We couldn't create that real decent chance to maybe get an equaliser. And Jack Wilshere still sitting on the bench.
As I said earlier, I just can't understand why. Like even when there's 10 minutes to go or 5 minutes or however long it was, and we're losing, but just chuck him on. We've got nothing. We've got absolutely nothing to lose. He's a player that's got quality, and he might just pop up with a great goal, or he might just do pick out someone really well, or when you've got a player of that quality and we're not bringing him on that kind of circumstance, it begs the question: what are we doing? What are the tactics? What it's just so confusing. Like, we do have subs available. That there is a reason we can bring on subs, and we've said we have on paper we have such quality. Well, we do not on paper. We do have such quality in our squad, and we could probably make a second squad out of the players we have if everyone was fully fit, and it would still maybe just about survive in the Championship, if not do well in League One or whatever. But it's still a good team. We have quality and depth, but yet we don't seem to utilise it at all. We've got players like Riquelme who's scored some, he scored some important goals. And that one against Derby, I think it was a great finish. He hasn't got a chance since. Like, why not chuck him on? Why not give him a chance? Because he wants to play. He's not come alone to sit on the bench, has he? He wants to get out there. He's got nothing to lose, and it just seems like I don't know what's going on. But I don't think we're utilising our squad at all, because it's because it used to be chopping and changing all the time. And I agree, we need to stick with the similar squads so they can get used to each other. We're going to play in a system better, but on the game, or even then, when we're managing the game, we've got so much quality on the bench to use it. I don't know what you think about that, but
yeah, absolutely. And the whistle would go. Referee blew his whistle. Barnsley 3, Bournemouth 2, and the dream's still alive for them. And do you know what? Fair play to them. Yeah. I know we're gonna be critical of Bournemouth, but they have a manager in Ishmael. They're now unbeaten since January the 27th. And like you said, they just know what they're doing. They've got their tactics. That's how they're going to roll. And that's what we were like in 2014-15. But he kicked every single ball in that game for me. And to see his passion, I just got to credit them for coming to Bournemouth and having a go and playing their style and say, look, we'll give you a game. And if we're good enough, we'll get a result.
You've got to admire it, really. I think that if we don't manage to get playoffs, I would like to see that Barnsley team challenge and maybe even have a chance of promoted, because I know it's hard to dislike them because they play good football. That they clearly have a very good manager and everyone respects him, and they're a very well organised team. They know exactly what they're doing and they play a very good system. And DK, who came on, he looked really good as well. So when he's playing consistently, I thought he was a menace. Although I do think Carter Vickers towards the end of the game did manage him very well. And but yeah, it's just mistake after mistake. But yeah, as you said, I can ramble on all day about our mistakes. But yeah, Barnsley have been really, really good. They've got a manager that's who's doing really well for them, and they've got a system that works, and they've got players that want to play for them. And I think that it came of when we went up to the Premier League, and a lot of those players, I feel like they knew this is my one chance. If I want to get to the Premier League, this could be my chance. I'm not going to get a move realistically. I could get there. There were a couple of players within there that might have got a move, but they all knew this could be our chance. I feel like it could be the same with Barnsley, where a lot of these players go, this could be our chance to go up, and that pushes them on even more. And it reminds me of that Bournemouth team that went up. So yeah, fair play to them.
Going to go into the final part of this video. Really appreciate if you give this video a like. Let us know what you think in the comments box. Did we really play that bad? Have we still got a chance? Give credit to Barnsley where credit's due. Please make sure you do this to support the channel, and we'll have a look and see who's the man of the match and have a look at the table. Okay then, Dan, so man of the match, as we do it as always, win, lose or draw. Goes to Arnaud Danjuma, 58.8%, probably just for the goal and assist alone.
Yeah, I think, you have to put a man of the match for him. I did think Lerma did play well this game, as well as Dom, but I think when you get a goal and an assist, you're likely to be man of the match. Involved, he seems to be involved in almost every goal. Because we know his quality, and yeah, fair enough. Deserved man of the match in my opinion.
What does that do to the table then? Well, we're still in 7th because Cardiff lost, and we'll have a look at the other scores in just a moment. Barnsley have now given themselves that breathing space that they couldn't get in the week against Derby. They're on 61 points in 6th. We've got 56 points in 7th. Reading drew as well. Swansea to come on Tuesday. Task is getting harder, Dan.
Yeah, I'm really worried about that game. I can see. I don't think it'll be like 3 or 4-0 anything like that. But I think they'll just outplay us, and in a system that they're really, really well organised. What were they conceded like the most? I think before they played City in the Cup, they had conceded the second least amount of goals in all of English football. Admittedly, after that they were a bit sloppy when it came to conceding, but they've been relatively solid the entire season. I could see this being a 1-0 to them, if I'm being honest. I think if we can get a draw out of that, it'll be a good result. But I mean, obviously we need the 3 points, but it's going to be a very difficult game.
And the rest of the scores was Luton 0, Swansea 1, just like you think it could be on Tuesday, potentially, if we don't play well enough. Yeah. Birmingham 0, Bristol City 3. So Nigel Pearson got back to winning ways. AFC Bournemouth 2, Barnsley 3. Cardiff 1, Watford 2. That's probably the positive we can take out of today. Derby 0, Millwall 1. Middlesbrough 3, Stoke City 0. Forest 1, Reading 1. Again, that's maybe a little positive because I do think the playoffs are going to go down between us and Reading if we can somehow kick on. QPR 0, Huddersfield 1, and Wycombe 1, Preston 0. Any thoughts on those scores, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it's good that I think that drop points. I think they came back when they were losing 1-0, but so it could have been even worse. But we'll take them dropping 2 points. And obviously the Watford result, I mean, weirdly, you look at that a few months ago, and if you told us that Watford this would be a good result for us, that Watford would be winning, but yeah, it's. I've said this before. It doesn't matter what other results teams get. I mean, it does obviously, but we just got to focus on our own performances. We got to get results for our own. If we don't progress and get points, then we can't progress through the league. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. So in some way, unless we're getting the points on the board. So
10 games to go, then that's our 5th home defeat. We did say in Lineups Live that we needed to use Vitality Stadium as a bit of fortress in this run-in. On our first attempt, we've lost. We've got Swansea and then Borough. I mean, summarise today for me and summarise where you're at with the rest of the season going forward.
I've been optimistic for the majority of the season. I thought we could still get promoted. We could still get promoted. And this is the first time truly that I think this could be it. And I don't want to give up. I'm obviously going to hope we can progress, but I just think that I think this could be it in terms of we regroup next season. We go again. We're going to lose some of our players inevitably, but whether Woodgate stays, who knows? I don't know. But it's just disappointing because we just it's just the same thing. We can't defend crosses, we can't kill games, and we don't manage the games correctly. And it's been that case throughout the whole season. We don't score enough goals. We don't have a natural number 9. And with a team that has so much quality, you wouldn't think we have this many issues, but it has been like that. And I think losing Eddie was so big for us. And I mean, I don't see him coming back if Woodgate does end up not getting another contract. But he'll be going on to whatever he does next. But yeah, I'm actually quite upset about the whole thing, and I think we just got to go again next season. By some miracle that we managed to get into the playoffs, then obviously that'll be an incredible result at this stage. But I don't know if you can see it. I just can't see it with the current performances at all.
It's looking a tough ask. While there's a mathematical chance, we'll keep trying. As fans, we'll keep supporting the team, and I'm sure the players will keep trying. But whilst we keep making the same mistakes, it's going to become harder and harder. Dan, thanks for joining me on this match preview.
Cheers. Appreciate having me on.
Thank you to everyone who's joined us over this match game week for the match previews, lineups lives, the review as well. Please give this video a like, and we'll also appreciate any comments you have. Drop them in there and we'll read them all. What have we got for Swansea then? We've got another match preview for you coming on Monday night, which I'll drop the details on Twitter. Follow us on @Cherries Red Army, and that's the best place to find out what's coming out at what times. From me and Dan though, and this match review, AFC Bournemouth 2, Barnsley 3. We'll stay positive. We'll keep hoping that we can turn it around and we can still make the playoffs. But until the next video, we'll see you soon. Up the Cherries.